Organisms need to take in food for nutrients for use around the body. The body cannot just make nutrients, so they need to be taken in.
He needs some milk!
There are 4 major types of nutrition: ingestion, putting food inside your body; digestion, breaking down matter mechanically or chemically to a smaller size; absorption, when nutrients are taken in through the intestines; and elimination, when the excess matter that our bodies don't need is expelled from the body.
You nasty!
But when we get the food, our body cannot use it right away. The food needs to be broken down so that the nutrients are at a small enough size that the small intestine and then the body cells can take them in.
Boy, if you don't get—
Mechanical digestion and chemical digestion both play a role in nutrition. Mechanical digestion happens in the mouth when we use our teeth to mechanically break down food. Chemical digestion happens in the mouth as well when our saliva helps to lubricate the food to be swallowed. Saliva is also released with the enzyme amylase, which helps to break down big molecules into smaller ones. Chemical digestion happens not only in the mouth, but in the stomach too. Hydrochloric acid breaks down weak bonds between molecules, which allows them to stretch out. There are many enzymes that aid in digestion. Amylase, hydrochloric acid, pepsin, insulin all break down different molecules. Enzymes make nutrients easier to absorb. Food enters the mouth as teeth, saliva, and enzymes break it down. There are different types of teeth: incisors, or the front teeth, for cutting and slicing; premolars for mashing, and molars for more mashing. Saliva is released using its amylase, which chemically breaks down some of the molecules as you chew. The esophagus carries food from the mouth to the stomach. It is a muscular tube that uses contractions to push food down by a process called peristalsis. After this, the epiglottis closes over the trachea so that food cannot go down into the lungs, because that is not where that is supposed to go.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
The food in this stage is called bolus. Bolus enters the stomach as hydrochloric acid or gastric juice breaks down the food into medium or medium small pieces. Acid breaks down the molecules by stretching them out. The stomach is lined with a mucus that slowly is broken down, but is replaced quickly so that the gastric juices do not digest the stomach itself. After about
A long periodically time.
2 to 3 hours, the bolus is done in the stomach and is digested into smaller pieces. It is now called chyme. The chyme goes from the stomach to the small intestine. The small intestine is an 11-foot tube, on average, that chemically breaks down food and absorbs the nutrients. The pancreas and intestinal walls release enzymes, while the gallbladder and the liver release bile. These further aid in absorption of the nutrients.
And it's spherical.
The nutrients are absorbed through the walls of the intestine. Microvilli and villi add more surface area to allow for more nutrient absorption. The liver makes bile for digestion in the small intestine, and excess is stored in the gallbladder. The pancreas releases an enzyme called insulin, which helps break down sugars. The chyme moves into the large intestine. Then the leftover water is reabsorbed into the intestinal walls. Vitamins and minerals left over are also absorbed back into the large intestine. This waste is then stored in the rectum until enough waste is stored so it can then expel through the anus.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
There are 2 forms of nutrition existing among the different eukaryote kingdoms. Not all organisms have to digest and ingest food to get what they need. Depending on the organism, protists can either ingest food or make their own food, fungi can ingest food, plants make their own food, and birds and reptiles ingest food. One weird mammal, called the shipworm, can do something no other living thing can do: digest wood. It does so using the powerful bacteria on its gills to break it down. Another thing most commonly known farm animals can do is ferment the plants they eat in their stomach. While this happens, they regurgitate it, then continue to chew it, swallow it, and repeat.
It's nasty.
Plant fibers in the plants that they ate can now be digested with the help of microbes. Neither of these things can be done by humans. And that is our digestive system.
Wow!